Afternoon, gentlemen. How you doing today?
Good, good.
Bad.
All right, so today we're going to be playing Macrotis, A Mother's Tale by Proud Dinosaurs. This released on October 21st for a Canadian beaver dollars $15.99.
Man, I actually really like the graphics I'm seeing so far.
Hey, I like the rain.
Dude, you saw a menu screen. Hold on.
Oh, rats.
They're not. They're bilbies.
What the hell's a bilby?
What you see on the screen right here.
Yeah. Are you not following the story? Is it too complicated for you?
It's way too complicated for
Okay.
me.
Gotcha.
So the idea is that there's a flood coming.
Oh.
The bilbies don't want to abandon their home, so instead they try to barricade it with sticks. Should stop the flood.
That should work, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. It's
Worked for the beavers.
And when it doesn't work, surprise, spoiler for the next 30 seconds, the mother gets separated from her children.
okay.
And the story...
We're all going on the ark.
No. The premise behind it is that the mother is trying to get back to her children.
Gotcha.
Which is admirable story, I guess. The gameplay is actually a 2D puzzle platformer. So there's no combat. There's no item usage or anything
Collect
like that.
them chickens.
No.
Go to higher grounds.
There are a few small collectibles to change the ending, but it's not terrible. But the rest is literally puzzle platforming. So you're not going to have to worry about combat. You're not going to have to worry about inventory management. Ultimately, or during the course of the game, she'll get a few abilities, like spell powers, that she can use. Think a lot like, say, like a Trine.
Yeah.
Where she can build some platforms, push and pull objects. Very rudimentary stuff. But the rest is just literally a little bit of storyline, puzzle platformer, lasts about 4 hours, and you can get the platinum just by beating the game.
Okay. I liked the graphics before this. Not that they're bad, but it's just like very low.
It's busy. It's very busy.
And it's very like low polygon 3D graphics, right?
But you
I
can
like
do...
the background, but yeah, the background is also too busy. Like, it looks nice. I wouldn't want to play it, though.
You can do low polygon while focusing on things like cartoony animation, cell shading, and not... Like, it's like they're trying to put in too many textures and objects for something that could be a simple, cutesy game.
Yeah, it actually reminds me exactly what you mentioned of Trine.
Without swapping characters.
Yes.
And obviously, the puzzles get a lot more challenging than move this away from the door.
I would hope so.
But, I mean, obviously, this is the first level, so it's the introduction of, hey, you can, you can cut ropes, you can push blocks. They will, as you progress, slowly introduce you new abilities. And, of course, the levels where you get new abilities, the puzzles will revolve more around those abilities, right? Because that's a common thing, right?
Yep.
The character, however, drowns in water very easily in this game for someone who, in the story, was pulled away in a flood and survived and now needs to get back to her kids. I don't know what happened to her swimming abilities.
Well, that's why she got pulled away.
I will say this, the controls, for the most part, are good.
Okay.
They have this odd wall jump that is the one reason that I would tell people to avoid this game. Because you need to do wall jumps in this game, and it is the most asinine mechanic since, like, the original Prince of Persia on PS3, where, like, if you touched the controller, you died, right?
Okay.
In this one, you jump towards the wall, and then you have to, like, stick to it for a second while the character's body animation turns around. But if you let go of the direction or press the jump button too early, she just falls.
Yeah, that would be irritating.
Hopefully I have something for that footage-wise in the video. I don't recall if I do. So here, you press up at any time to reset a puzzle if you screw up, right? Because you have to slowly crawl on the broken floors.
To drag the rock, yeah.
To drag the rock. And, of course, you can see me failing multiple times and having to reset. But you'll also notice, and this stays consistent throughout the entire game, the reset for like a missed puzzle is very forgiving. It's it's a reset point after every room essentially.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you never have to go back a far distance. And even though some of the puzzles can end up being like longer, you never go further back than the puzzle you were working on.
Okay.
So like here, right, you need to drop the boulder so that it'll raise the water level a little. I should have pushed that beforehand.
Because you just drowned instantly.
Well, yeah. I mean, what are the chances that you can survive in 2 feet of water when you were floating? No, not beforehand. I should have done it after. But from the other side. Because you can submerge the character entirely in the water, but go even an inch further than that, and you'll drown.
Okay, yeah, so I can see you can kind of... Yeah, I got it now.
That's the one really bad thing from a graphical standpoint. There's a lot of those where like water will like rise in level, and you'll just see the water's edge floating above the land. Where it's like, that shouldn't happen.
And then you just drown.
No, not necessarily. Like, you raise the water level, and even if it's like just the land, like the shore graphic is lower than the water, and the water is somehow invisible wall floating above where you would normally spill out onto land, right?
Okay, so you got like a collectible there of some kind.
Yep. Yeah, there's a few books per level, or a few per chapter that you can collect.
And you said they just affect the story, it's not...
I didn't even need to get them all for the platinum.
Gotcha, okay.
Which I didn't do, because they get a lot more challenging than that to get them for later parts of the game.
Oh, this is that jumping...
Look at this.
Yeah.
Like, you see how long that animation takes when you've stuck to the wall to turn around?
Yeah.
And if you press the jump button even a second early, or let go of the direction a second early, she just plummets. And it's like, why? There's no part in the game where it can't be a simple touch the wall, hit jump again.
Yeah.
That's an example of a poor decision.
Yeah. You don't want to have...
Whoa, Alex, you're still here?
You don't want to have control challenges in a game unless it's very specifically intended to make the game more challenging because of controls, like a survival horror game where they intend it to be bad controls, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it's also the only feature of the game. When there's no content, when there's no inventory, platforming and puzzle solving is the only thing you do.
Yeah.
So you got to do it well.
Yeah. And you want the challenge to be in the puzzle itself, not in how to jump on a wall.
There were a few puzzles later in the game where I did feel genuinely challenged and had to like trial and error quite a few times to figure it out, to solve it. It was kind of rewarding when I got it, but it wasn't a consistent thing. A lot of the game I just walked through once I learned the game.
Yeah.
I definitely find the background to be far more interesting, and the foreground in some cases, to be far more interesting and full of things happening than the game itself.
Yeah, but it's just too busy. They need to bring that focus to the foreground to your activities.
Yeah. Drowned a rat.
And like, yeah, like,
Fail.
I mean, we're getting down to the end of this. Just a couple minutes left. Why don't you guys give me your thoughts on do you continue after the first opinion?
Hasn't really sold me, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, it looks alright, but I don't think I'd continue.
Me neither. I don't really see anything too interesting here. Seems like a fairly basic puzzler with some control problems and a very distracting visual style.
Yeah, and that's a shame too, because it's a nice visual style. Like, it's not bad. It's a little simplistic, yes, but it's not bad. But then you ruin it by cluttering it up too much.
Yeah.
And it's one of those situations where it definitely would have been less is more, right? Just keep the focus on... And that's the biggest reason that I'm going to agree to not continue after the first opinion, is that there is just too much focus taken away from the one thing that they should be focusing on, and that's the puzzle platforming. Keep it simple, keep the graphics simple so that they don't take focus away from the puzzle solving, and make the mechanics for the platforming like ideal for that. Like, look at how...
That looks so annoying.
Yeah. So, and that's the biggest downfall, and that's why I think that it is a unanimous do not continue after the first opinions.
Yep.
Hey, did you like that video? If you did, be sure to let us know by clicking the like button and leaving a comment. If you want to be first in line for any new content, be sure to subscribe to our channel and then hit up our Facebook page. The link's in the description below to see what's coming up next.